Mm. Oh my God. Meatloaf. So good. Oh, their sauce is perfect. A little tangy, a little sweet. I have so many memories of my grandma right now. Grandma Hazel. I love the sauce you put on top of your meatloaf. Now I'm so excited to share it. Hi team! Welcome back to my kitchen. I'm Wendy, your kitchen chaos coordinator. And in this kitchen, recipes are real, measurements optional, sarcasm always on the side. Tonight we are making meatloaf, and it is my grandma Hazel's recipe. So this is on my mom's side of the family. So this recipe has been passed down. I am third generation, where we'll work on third. Third generation. Grandma, my mom, me. I was trying to add more people in between there. All right, so Midwest recipe. What do we have tonight? We're going to do mashed potatoes with it. I've got a 2-pound package of ground round. I've got an onion. I've got 2 eggs, a can of mushrooms, and a package of saltine premium saltines. And then for the piece de resistance, topping that goes on top. Where else would the topping go, Wendy? The topping has Grandma Hazel's special secret. It's brown sugar and Worcestershire. Okay, but it's Grandma's special recipe. So go get your spoon, grab your chair, come on up. You might need your apron tonight. We're gonna get kind of messy because we gotta squish all the meat together, and we're gonna make Grandma Hazel's meatloaf recipe. All right, see you in a second. Okay, got your spoon, got your apron. Let's get going on Grandma Hazel's recipe. First thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and take off my watch and my ring and just set them aside because we are gonna get messy. And I don't wanna be a part of that. I don't wanna be picking any parts of that out of my watch or my ring. All right, we want to grab a big mixing bowl because we've got 2 pounds of meat, so I'm using my large one tonight. I'm going to set these potatoes aside. We're going to do those afterwards. First thing you want to do is crack 2 eggs. We're going to throw the eggs in. We were taught to put the wet ingredients in first and then add the hamburger afterwards. So we'll open the can of mushrooms next. This is a smaller can of mushrooms, so 4 ounces. 4 ounces. And I'm just going to drain the juice off of that. Those mushrooms are always moist, and you really don't need to add a bunch of extra moisture in. There we go. Okay, and then we need ketchup and mustard. Ketchup is about a cup, and so I have this handy dandy measure. Whoopsie. I'm going to fill up my ketchup. About a cup of ketchup. Oop! See what I mean? I shouldn't have worn white. I have a shirt with white on. Probably not going to do me very good. There we go. Here's what I love about this measuring cup. You turn it, and then you turn it upside down, and it squishes it all out. Amazing. Amazing. And then listen, on the mustard, it completely, really, truly is by sight. But I'm going to tell you, it's probably 1/4 of a cup. Okay, so you know that in this kitchen measurements are optional. And I would normally do the mustard by sight. And again, it's a silly counting thing, so I just squeeze until the count of 10. So I'm going to squeeze till the count of 10, and let's see if that gets us, I think it's between a quarter cup and a third of a cup. So let's see what we get. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Probably an eighth of a cup, I guess. Good thing we measured for us, huh? All right, let me dump that in there. Find my little tiny spatula for us. Let's see what we get. Oh, all right. If I could show you in here. Another thing that we cook by is smell. So when I stir it all together, it should smell like I think it should smell. If it doesn't smell mustardy enough, I'm going to add more mustard, and we'll just figure it out. We know that we put in an eighth of a cup so far. Worcestershire sauce, Grandma Hazel's secret. 1. Let's just go 1 whole tablespoon. We'll see. Again, I think it's more. Set this down. Get my whisk. Ah, like Wendy, we can't see what you're doing. Now, I should smell the sweet. I should smell a little bit of the mustard, and I should smell a little bit of the tangy of Worcestershire. And right now, I mainly smell ketchup. So I am going to add a little bit more mustard. Let's go crazy here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'm going to say a whole quarter cup. We'll do a quarter cup. And I'm going to add another tablespoon of Worcestershire. Okay. If you don't like mushrooms in there, you don't have to put mushrooms in yours. I know some people are like, oh, that's a deal breaker for me. You don't have to. It's just what Grandma Hazel did. Still smelling mostly ketchup. So I'm just going to give it another 5 squirts. Now we know for sure we're at a quarter cup of mustard, and I'm going to go 1 more tablespoon of Worcestershire. There we go. So my grandma was raised in the middle of northeastern Colorado, and the fondest memory I have of her telling me that they went to school and they took a horse, her siblings, and they had to go to another town to go to school. So the school wasn't in their town, so they had to go into town. And when the weather was bad, their mama would hook up the wagon behind the horse, and they would just get in the wagon, and the horse knew to go to school. And so that's the coolest story she ever told me. That, and she did play baseball when the boys were gone to war, so that would have been World War II, because Grandma was born in 1918, and she told stories about how fun it was to play ball, and that she had, if you've ever seen the movie A League of Their Own, Grandma talked about how that could have been her. Like she really wanted to do that. She wanted to play ball. She was an avid sports fan, and in our little town, she would be downtown at the ball fields watching whoever play ball, adults, kids, girls, boys, co-ed, whatever it was. She was down there and she'd have her sunflower seeds, and you could find Grandma Hazel sitting in the bleachers with her sunflower seeds. She was an amazing lady, and I loved learning from her. And this was one of my favorites. I loved the way she made it, and then I loved the way my mom made it. And so, of course, when I got married way back in the this was one of the first recipes. I think I actually asked for this recipe while I was in college. Not pretty sure I made it when I was living in the apartment. So anyway, we need to put some onion in here as well. So while we were chatting, I was peeling away the onion. I don't like my onion in my meatloaf to be biteable. I don't want to bite into a piece of onion. It's just gross. So I'm making tiny bits of onion. I'm the same way about my potato salad too. I do not want onion. I do not want to bite into a big hunk of onion. I want the flavor in there, but I don't want the bite. So again, always working from the bottom, Wendy. I don't know why. Let me figure that out. It's unfortunate my mom and my grandma are both no longer with us, or I could ask, why do I cut from the bottom? All right, for 1 pound of beef, I normally put in 2 tablespoons, two spoonfuls of finely diced onion. So I'm going to say, let's just go ahead and do 3. Whoop. And again, I always do it by sight. Oops. This is about to be an episode of 911. Somebody call the doctor. She's cut off her thumb. Ladies and gentlemen, make sure you are operating safety first in the kitchen. Have a firm hold of your onion. And a sharper knife. I think this knife needs to be sharpened, because she is not one to cut through. All right, now let me show you how little the grains are of onion. See? They're little. I don't like them great big. And we're going to put in 3 spoonfuls. So I'm just going to take that Worcestershire spoon. We'll put in 3. We know we have an extra spoon here just in case. Once I start mixing it together, if I think, oh, that's definitely, I'm not seeing enough onion, then we can add more. Now, the last thing you want to do before you put your hamburger in is add a whole package of saltine crackers. So a whole sleeve's worth. I don't know how many this ends up being, but it's a sleeve's worth. And I'm just going to go ahead and crunch them. I could have crunched them before I got on with you, huh? Okay, some people use breadcrumbs. Some people use Ritz crackers. Some people use bread. We use plain old saltine crackers. And why do I put them in before I put in the ground meat? That's going to probably be another controversy. I was taught that you want the cracker to soak up the ketchup mixture. You don't want it to be soupy before you add in your meat, because you want the cracker to have started to expand already and take on some of that flavor of the ketchup, mustard, and Worcestershire mix. So there we go. I'm going to sniff it one more time. Smells pretty good. I think I am going to go ahead and put in that other. I'm going to go ahead and just use the whole of the onion, because I normally put in 2 spoonsful for 1 pound. Might as well just do 4 for the 2 pounds of meat. All right, so let's get our meat open. So I usually let it fall apart. There we go. Looks good. Let me wash my hands real quick. You know what we need? What? How could you forget? McCormick, hello, here we are. It's the Montreal steak seasoning. Why? Because it has salt, pepper, onion, garlic, and a couple other spices. It's just the perfect flavor. And then you don't need to get out 5 different spice canisters. Just get 1. So I'm just going to give this guy a shake. I wonder how many. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Nobody saw that. Okay. I'm going to start with my spatula. And stir him all together. Come on this side so you guys can see. We have stirred this together, but I'm still seeing pieces of meat, clumps of meat that haven't been melded together with the cracker and the tomato or the ketchup and all of that stuff. So it is time to use our hands. Yikes, Wendy, look out. No, it's not that bad. I use one hand because I want to keep one hand clean. And I'm just going in and almost like octopus. Just all five fingers out and then scrunch, and then all 5 fingers out and then scrunch. Just around the bowl 1 time. You're just making sure that you got it all mixed together. Yep, there we go. And you can see I'm already forming it into a little ball there in the bowl. So this, you can see some of the cracker there. You can see some of the onion. Maybe you can see mushroom. But it's got a nice firm texture. And it falls apart. When it comes apart, you can kind of hear the egg noise. Ew. Okay. For those of you that watched the kitchen essentials, ta-da! We actually have our casserole dish that we're going to use as our meatloaf pan today. So I'm going to stick him here, and then I'm going to dump this guy out. Grab any extras that happen to be in the bottom. And now you're just going to form it into a nice loaf. I usually just go right down the middle, make him stick up tall. And then, so you can see there was a chunk of meat that didn't quite mix in. So I'm just going to mix that right then and there. Nobody will know because it'll bake in. Okay. Hey, he's got a nice loaf. Got a nice loaf there. I like the loaf to be about as tall as the pan is. So you can see my hands are even Steven on both sides. So that's a nice tall loaf. And then I like it to go just finger width on either side, front to back. And then we're going to put him in the oven as soon as I wash my hands. So give me 2 seconds. Let me wash my hands and then we'll be right back. So we have the meatloaf in the oven. He's going to be in there for about an hour and 15 minutes, hour 30, depending, at 350 degrees. He is covered with tinfoil right now, but at that hour 15 mark, we're going to take off the tinfoil and we are going to add Grandma Hazel's secret sauce recipe, which somebody told me is actually like a molasses, a base for a molasses, or somebody's barbecue sauce. Either or, and candies or nuts, whatever. So I had this old ketchup in the fridge and it was almost gone. So I thought, why not use it first? So we've got that. Throw that away. And that gave us nothing. I want to make about a cup's worth of this because you serve it on the side as well so that you can ladle it on top of your slice of meatloaf. So we need a cup of ketchup. Oh, there's that noise again. Lucky for us. All right, so that's at about a cup. Then again with the mustard, again I'm going to count to 10. Almost a quarter of a cup. Yeah, almost a quarter of a cup of mustard. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Beautiful. Another 3 tablespoons of Worcestershire sauce. That's part of Grandma's secret. 1, 2, 3. Again, for me, a matter of looking and shaking. Then in the picture you see I had a box of brown sugar. This one's brand new, but I did find that I had some brown sugar just hanging around. So I am going to, did I have my glasses on earlier? Yes, a quarter cup. I'm going to put a quarter cup in there at first and see what I think. Okay, that's 1/4 cup. I'm going to stir that with a fork. And I can already tell we need one more. So we're going to say we need a half a cup. So it's 1 cup ketchup, 1/4 cup mustard, 1/2 cup brown sugar, 3 tablespoons of Worcestershire. You stir that up. And we're just going to set that to the side. That's it. Stir well. Right before we put it on the meatloaf, we're going to pop it in the microwave for like 30 seconds just to cook it up a little bit, get that brown sugar to melt. But right now it's just going to sit on the side and wait for the meatloaf to cook. All right. Cool. We did it. Shh, don't tell anybody. It's Grandma's secret. And now I'm prepping for the mashed potatoes. So I have my big mixing bowl in the sink with some water in it to rinse the potatoes before I cut them. And then I've got my cooking pot that I'm also filling with water so that when I cut them, I can just put them straight into the pot. And then we can cook them away. I do need a knife. Let me grab the knife. Got the potatoes with. All right. So this is about a half a bag. This is the leftovers from the potato soup recipe. So I still had half a bag left. And so I'm going to peel them and put them in the water. When they're all peeled, then I'll wash them real good, cut them, put them in the pan for cooking. If you guys want to hang around for that. Into the water you go. What was I saying? We have 102 subscribers. 102. What? We have 102 friends on this channel. How exciting. Thank you so much for helping this channel grow. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for passing it along to other friends who, you know, want to see a regular old mom cooking dinner. Comfort food, regular dinners. I'm so excited. So I was about 11 and I had this very favorite t-shirt. It was light blue and it had, I don't know if you remember the show Mork and Mindy, but it had Mork the alien, his fingers, you know, where he would say nanu nanu with his fingers, nanu nanu. And that was going across my lovely light blue shirt. And my mom said, hey, Wendy, come peel these potatoes. Okay. So here I am, new to the kitchen, and I'm peeling the potatoes. I'm holding them like on my belly to peel this way, away from me. I ruined that shirt. I had potato dirt ground into that shirt. I will never forget that. When I was getting ready to peel these potatoes, I actually thought, maybe I'll put on my apron or wear a towel or something. It traumatized me. It was my favorite shirt. Okay, as we're finishing up this last potato here, we do not have to start these potatoes right away. Potatoes, bring to a boil takes about 20 minutes, boil them takes about 20 minutes. So you've got about 40 minutes on these. So once you get close to the hour mark on your meatloaf, once that timer gets close to that hour mark, then you can go ahead and turn your water on to boil. It's okay to leave potatoes in the water and just set them on the stovetop. You don't have to worry about them. They can wait until that hour mark. So these are just going to go sit on the stovetop. We have got about 40 minutes until that hour mark. So I am going to go finish my Sprite and look at my recipe book. All right, we'll see you back here at about the hour mark. Okay, I got my potatoes boiling now. Started them to boil and the timer went off, so we need to take this guy out. And that's the microwave with the sauce inside. I just threw it in there for a minute because I wanted the brown sugar to melt up a little bit. So let me grab that out of the microwave. And you'll see it became a thicker saucy sauce with the brown sugar. And now I will go get that meatloaf out of the oven. We'll take the foil off, layer it with this sauce, and then put it back in the oven for another 20 minutes. We just want that sauce to get browned and kind of crusty on the top. So here we go. Y'all, I am so in love with my countertop oven because it doesn't heat up the whole of the kitchen when you're cooking. I just feel like it's almost crock-potty. I feel guilty about using it. But you can see our little guy. We peel this off. Oh, that's lovely. Now, what kind of beef did I use? I used a ground round, so 85/15. So there is a little bit of fat laying down there in the bottom of the pan, but that's okay. We will spoon that out before we serve. But there you go. She is looking great. What do I call the food she? I even called the roast chicken, she. I don't know. Anyway, meatloaf's looking great. Now we just want to pour some of the sauce on top. Then you reserve some of the sauce, obviously, because you're going to want to put it on top of your own slice once it comes back out of the oven. And what we're doing now, just getting it so it starts that tumble over the side. Now this is going back in the oven for another 20 minutes, again at 350, just to finish baking and to get that glaze set up. Ready? Here we go. Guess what? The meatloaf is done. The potatoes are almost done. So let's get this ball rolling. First stop, meatloaf out of the oven. Oh, there they are. I lost my mind. Oh, now you know I'm going to bring this up to you so you can see it up close and personal. Look at this, ladies and gentlemen. She's a beaut. Again, I called it a girl. Meatloaf. What? Just like Mom used to make. No, Grandma. Just like Grandma used to make. All right, this does have to sit for 15 minutes or so. It helps just make sure everything stands up, stays together. So we're gonna set this to the side and then I'm gonna start the potatoes in the same spot. All right, give me just a second, let me pull those potatoes off. All right, team, so we've got our mashed potatoes completely done. What I did was a stick of butter, a tablespoon-ish of milk, maybe 2 tablespoons, and I had left just a little bit of the water on the bottom, maybe half an inch at the bottom, if that. And then we just used our mixer and on low for about 30 seconds, and we have a very luscious, rich set of mashed potatoes. Now I did not add a lot of salt to this because the butter already has salt in it, and people can add salt at the table if they want. I don't need to make it too salty and then you can't take the salt away. So better to let them add what they want to add at the table. Okay, so taters are done. We're gonna wait about 10 more minutes for the meatloaf, but I'm gonna get the camera and show you the lovely meatloaf. Well, I remembered this trick, which is to roll up your paper towel and then make it almost like a wick. So you can see there on that end, it's literally soaking up the fat. Well, there you go. And these are so easy to just pick up. I just put them in each corner. Guess what? We made meatloaf. We made our meatloaf just like Grandma. Look at that. That is what you call a blue plate special. Right on. And I am ready to dig in and try this. Oh, yum. Thank you guys so much for joining us today. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and I hope it brought back any memories for you of your grandma. Send me your comments, what your grandma did when she was growing up. I'd love to hear them. We'll see you later. Stay tuned for a Zen moment. I'm off to eat my blue plate special. There's the rainbow.